Hey everyone, this is going to be my final thoughts on the RedCat SandStorm Baja Buggy. Purchased this probably about a little bit over a month ago, and it's been pretty good. There are a couple of things that were good about it, and there were a couple of things that I thought that needed to be improved on it. Right away, I'll go ahead to, do I recommend this? Yes, I do. This is actually my first RedCat buggy. And for the cost of it, I think you can get it online for $129 off of eBay, and that can even be with free shipping. And it does come ready to run. It comes with the battery pack, even though it's a 1800 nickel metal battery pack, 6-cell. And it also comes with a 2.4 gigahertz radio. It's an old FlySky radio, and it uses 8 AA's. But for what it's worth, it does run well. Now, I know that there's been problems and issues with the ESCs that come with these buggies. That is an issue, and that is a big problem. But for the price you pay, I didn't expect a lot because I did see Jane's review on it, and I went ahead and tried it too. I ran a 2-cell LiPo. I think I ran it for about 3 or 4 minutes. It ran fine. I turned it off, turned it back on, and the ESC would not work anymore. So went ahead and threw that away, kept the motor, and I went ahead and put a brushless system in here. I have 2 videos, or actually several videos up. One, I ran it with the Helion Reactor 3500 kV brushless system, which ran well in there. And then I switched over to a Castle system with the 3800 550 size 4-pole motor, which is tons of torque and plenty for this buggy right here. Right off the bat, I have tons of videos up. One of the things that I did upgrade, as you see on here, was the tires and wheels. I did that because it just gave it more of a realistic buggy look that I have been looking for, especially in a 4-wheel drive buggy. So I like the way it looked like this, and it actually handled well with this as well. The buggy does come with a 24-tooth pinion gear, but they are the metric size, so that's the 0.6 size and not the standard American where it's 0.8. So if you do think about getting other pinion gears, you will have to get the metric size. Parts that I've broken on this, there was actually 2 things I broke. One was the wing, and I actually have it right here. I did a pretty hard flip, and the wing broke off. Actually, this part up here in the top broke. Wasn't too happy about that. Maybe I'll try to find another one to put on there. But during that crash, that was the only thing that broke in that. Well, that's not the only thing. There was one other thing, too. When I also took it to the track and I was doing some hard bashing with it, this top part broke. This right here. It did land pretty hard several times on the top. So I just took that off, and it actually gives it kind of more of a scale look somewhat as well. I'd probably end up cutting this part off. These light parts, and just molding this back up on there, because that wouldn't look too bad if I'm able to trim that correctly. That's the only thing that broke on the body. There was one bad crash that I had. I took a long jump and I landed on the front end, and this bumper sticks out so much that it actually bent this forward, and the car bent over it, and it actually broke the chassis, the front part of the chassis. Now, it was a pretty hard jump, and I did hit pretty hard, so should it have broken? Maybe if they constructed the front of this differently and this didn't stick out so much. Go ahead and remove this. That wouldn't have broke, but I did go ahead and purchase another chassis because I did like driving it, and the chassis cost $14, so that wasn't too bad. But that did break because of this flexing up, so I do recommend that if someone does get this, and I'll show you in just a minute the underneath side of the chassis, maybe putting a metal brace in between there just to keep that from breaking, or even shortening this bumper right here. But if you do that, you won't have this feature here where these connect here, and you can actually lift the body up and take it off. It does come with a fake tire and wheel, and when I say fake, I do mean plastic. So what I did was I took the tires and wheels that actually come with the kit, and I put one of them there. For me, more of a realistic look. It looked pretty good running around, so I left it where it was. As far as underneath the chassis, there was another review by Jane. He did recommend thicker shock oil, which I do as well. For what I was doing with it, it was fine how it is. I just put more spacers in there. I'll probably do another half spacer in the rear and another thicker spacer in the front because it does bounce a little bit, but the dampening and stuff in the shocks is fine. I did manage to once strip the spur gear, and that's because my motor did slip. One of the screws in here came loose, and of course with this type of motor, it did move a little bit and it did strip the spur gear. They do sell a metal spur gear for $11. I saw it on eBay with free shipping. So that may be something I may get for this later on, because this is a buggy that I will keep and that I will continue to run. As far as battery packs, it can run, as far as with this system now in it. I do have the Castle SCT system in it. It can run soft pack and hard pack lipos. I did have a hard pack lipo in here. It was a little tight fit, but it actually did fit in here fairly well. It fit better than my Criterion buggy did, so it's actually easier to slip in and out. So did I run it on 3S? No, I didn't want that kind of speed and power with this. Running it on 2S is fine. I may actually put a brushed system in here. I have another metric brush system from Helion, and those seem to be holding up pretty well, so I'll probably end up putting that in here as well. Other things, this car does not come with the ball bearings. I did notice the other night that after probably about 20 runs that there was some wobble in there, and the bushings, that does come with metal bushings, they were wearing out pretty bad, and it was so bad that my tires and stuff were wobbling. I think on my last run, it wobbled so much that it actually loosened the wheel nut up, and the tire just flew off. So I went ahead and replaced that with the ball bearings, and I got those ball bearings from avidrc.com. They are $1 bearings, which is great. You can get 20 bearings for $22, $23 shipped, and they actually ship pretty quickly. Upgrades I would do for this car, if you guys want, you don't have to upgrade the shocks. Better shock oil. Of course, a better brushed or brushless system would do wonders for it. Servo was fine, didn't have any problems with that. The radio, even though it does use 8 AA's, I wish they would kind of update that. The radio and everything was fine. There was no interference with it. The one thing I broke, as I spoke about earlier, is underneath the chassis. You see how this bolt's in here? That's the part that actually broke off when I hit and it landed on the front nose. This front part right here is what broke, so this became detached. So I do recommend that you maybe put an aluminum plate that attaches between here and there to make this a little bit stronger up front, or take the bumper off and put something else there. If you do that, do be cautious that part of the bumper does hold this front brace in for the A-arm. So just think about that too when you're doing the modifications for there. Some people may say, that's too much work, but like I said, for $129, $30, $40 at the most probably for this, I think it's a pretty good deal. I know the electronics in it suck, but it does say it on the box. It cannot use anything higher than a 6-cell nickel metal hydride battery, which is fine. I mean, get it, take it out, sell it for $10, $15, $20 on Craigslist. Other things I may do for this, I may get a truck body, a Rustler body, and put on top of it. And I may not, I'm not sure, but I probably will, because I'm still kind of liking that truck look for it. This is also one other thing, an updated chassis, it seems like, from RedCat. The plastic is a lot sturdier because I did bash it pretty hard and nothing broke like A-arms or anything. They did include particular things like this cover to cover up any things from any durables or anything or dirt getting into the spur gear. And I looked at this chassis and I compared it to a few of the other ones out there, and this is more of an updated chassis because I think the FTX Vintage, Carnage, the I-10MT from Integy, all of them kind of share this chassis layout somewhat, but this does seem to be an updated version of it, and it does actually seem to be a lot more durable as well. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to put them below. And if you have any questions, put them below and I'll try to answer them. And don't forget to like or subscribe. If there's any cars or trucks you want me to get and do a review on, just let me know.